I'm going to ask William Bain, MP, who's now joined us, to say a few words, and then for Sara Pantiliano to say something about the international engagement. And then we'll come to the questions. William Bain.
Great. Thanks very much, Martin. Thank you, Alistair. Good morning, everyone here in London, and good morning, everyone in Juba. It's a pleasure to join you. I'm the chair of the Associate Parliamentary Group on Sudan and South Sudan, which is based at Westminster in the UK Parliament. We're very lucky to have a strong, dedicated team of parliamentarians, both from the House of Commons and from the House of Lords, who've engaged consistently with the issues affecting Sudan and now also South Sudan over the past decade. And we're delighted to take part in this Juba Calling Mark II event. It's an opportunity, as we've heard, to look back over the last 6 months, but also to explore the challenges, economic, humanitarian and political, which your state continues to face. I think reflecting on what we've heard, one of the interesting debates that we're having in the West at the moment is, of course, the effect that austerity, of reducing expenditure in order to cut your deficit and your debt, has on growth. And, you know, in this country we're having huge debates about whether the balance is right on that account. And it is truly extraordinary to hear that the circumstances that you now face in South Sudan means that you've had to half expenditure. And one wonders what impact that the government has examined that will have on employment and on growth, given that so much employment in South Sudan has been dependent on the public sector and on that self-same government funding. So what strategy do the panelists see that can be done in the short term to try and deal with this? With potentially the increase in poverty that could emerge from this, the possibility of a food crisis that could occur in the next year. But in the longer term, again, an issue that is common with us here in the West is how you can diversify your economy. I'm interested to hear about your plans to move South Sudan's economy away just from its reliance on oil revenue into other sectors. I wonder what plans exist to improve agriculture. We know that in the south of the country there are immense natural resources, which mean that it could in many ways be the breadbasket not just of South Sudan but of other states as well. I wonder what plans there are to increase the level of smallholder agriculture, the ability of women to have a much bigger part in the economy. We know that from other parts in Africa, smallholder agriculture has been the key to involving women and seeing an improvement in their living standards, an improvement in their rights, and improvement in employment levels too. I wonder also what progress has been made in terms of establishing the procedures of good governance in South Sudan. We know it's critical in any state that you have an impartial civil service, good local government, good provincial government able to deliver the services at a local level. What improvements are possible, you believe, in the next year or so in terms of health and education, critical services in any state, but particularly in South Sudan? And also what relationship you see with the outside world. South Sudan is not yet a member of the Commonwealth. It's not yet a member of various other international organizations. I wonder whether the government has plans to change that in the coming years, to engage with these international institutions, to engage with international NGOs. And of course that's very important given the lack of access in Sudan that there has been to international NGOs, and that in many ways South Sudan could be a beacon to the state in the north if it was able to deepen its relationship with international NGOs. We also held a really successful event about 6 weeks ago on trade and investment in South Sudan. Enormous interest from the South Sudanese diaspora here in London, but also investors and businesses from Canada and the UK and other Western countries. And I wonder if the panelists have any comments about how South Sudan's government can, in a sense, be more welcome to the investment which is there, which is keen and which could actually drive the diversification and employment growth in South Sudan.